Welcome back to the 8th week of my Empires recap. 2 months already. Time really does fly. And yes, I have heard your calls to create character recaps, which I'll eventually do. But for now, let's see what our rulers are up to. Sausage, having gone Netherite from Joel, decides to go to the Nether to get ancient debris to upgrade the rest of his tools. Like many people, as Ollie has arrived, makes a tavern of their own. And this TV will be a big BBG, a big boy build. Taking inspiration from Phew, builds inside out, then shown around. Afterwards, wanting candles to decorate the place, goes to Catherine where he can get string, and then in return makes her several banners for her to choose from. Receiving the moss from Hermes, the man who gave it to him is currently unstable, blowing stuff up and being arrested. So he gives to Auntie Lizzie for the weekend so Joe has time to calm down. He is quite alright with this as it isn't Jimmy or Joey. Catherine decided the outside of her castle needs sprucing up, yet when she places plants on the dark side, all it does is die and disintegrate, and she chooses the sparkly banner from Sausage's collection. But why Pirate Joe is on the board is still a mystery, so it goes to Joel to return the stolen stratosphere gold block, officially getting an ally in him, but who put Joe on the board is still unknown. What she needs, however, is some steeds. No princess can go without them, but while riding one of her steeds, it gets electrocuted, turning into half unicorn, half skeleton hybrid. She goes to Shovel for help in that curse, yet her splash potions are of no use. Scott, like Sausage, now has an official logo for his empire. Yet to go with this, searches for an amethyst cluster for its calcite. The amethyst is for the human lady. Barely escaping the deep dark and getting frog lights and pixel, builds the fountain of an old design he had seen before. Then with that, some permanent pathways, trees, and decoration. Having received the gold and complimented, Joel puts the gold back on the stratosphere and will continue on his filling arc until the stratosphere is back. Having to be tried to be arrested by the sheriff, wants to mock him even more by building a toy shop on the outskirts of his empire, selling sheriff toys as it doesn't fit the theme of his empire. Having stopped the shop, one is conveniently missing. Wonder who needs to sit there. Wanting to be on the bridge, decides to go opposite of his father, make Sausage, and builds a floating bed for them to relax and take the view, as who knows what else could happen out there. Losing your child is a worry, but fortunately, Hermes is with Auntie Lizzie. What could go wrong with that? Yeah, it should be fine. Shovel once again has another sign saying soon. But nope. What am I talking about? She didn't see it. She had her eyes closed. But much ado about it, she needs more of a house than a shack. Plus, that extra space would help her with storage, until she has a shed for it. But once again, it's greeted by shriekers in the floors. She isn't haunted, right? Now having this extra space to put stuff what previously was a storage area became a Neverwart farm. Trying out a spell, she was trying to make candles go in the air and set a light floating around her bedroom. Constantly being called a toy, for Sheriff's LA has been called Buzz. Guess he's got another partner. This constant playing with wants him to set the law in place by building a church and or law building to hold a law book in front of the jail. These laws would include 1. Don't disrespect the sheriff. 2. Always try to establish peace between empires. 3. No stealing another person's mount. 4. No stealing or trying on another person's hat. And number 5, respect the lands of empires. Not many, but if broken, a stern visit from the sheriff will commence. So people know these laws have been put in place. 12 copies were made for everyone to collect at spawn. It was only by Sausage wanting the alien on his hill that Hermes that he was learnt of Joel's toy shop, which he wants to burn. As expected, Joel doesn't take this well, seeing it as a disgusting display of power, having the right to defend his toys. Like any interaction between them, it only ended in them insulting each other, yet this time Sheriff made lost law to slander Joel, saying that he was the smallest in his family and of his god type. Meanwhile, Joel is currently more fussed about the inconvenience of getting quartz, so decides to continue building the village as the peasants aren't worthy of quartz. Plus they complimented him, so why wouldn't he build for them? And because of this sexiness and brilliance of his, and totally for no other reasons at all, villagers from Phu's empire are coming to his, which fortunately is able to get him 300 quartz a day. Due to his distaste for the sheriff, decided that he wants to show what he actually is, a toy. So getting a potion and giving it to the sheriff turns him into the true small toy he is, which is also to the amusement of Scott, Phu, and Sausage. Finally, the bridge to what will be Upper Stratos is built. Joey is revealed to be part bisexual, meaning whoever they are, if they are a pirate, he could be attracted to them. So for his current love, Catherine, he steals her some TNT from the sheriff, including the wagon itself, as she needs it more than him. Surely this will surprise her to fall in love with him. Now, the map that Pixie Riff gave him is now to use. Find the treasure defended by the Skeletron's army, but one loot is something which he hadn't seen before, the skeleton compass. So like any pirate wanting adventure, follows it, going north, which leads to an overgrown nether portal, which has a map to the Skeletron hideout. Yet, even if not prepared to fight, is prepared to save a crewmate of his, Pirate Pete. Having defeated the army and collected a variety of valuable loot like diamond, golds and emeralds, discovers that setting out the campfire leads him to a new area within which has more loot. For the next riddle, he has to do parkour and target practice to take him to the most valuable items and closer to saving his crewmate, including a vanquisher, the most powerful shooting item in the game. This chest also provides a map to another of his crewmates. Before saving Pete, Joe discovers Skeletron's note, not believing that Joe is still alive, wanting him to be brought to him as he could be more valuable to them after all. Having saved his first crewmate, Pete is revealed to have been Joe's librarian, the most smartest man on a ship, knowing everything. Shout out to Picturus for building this adventure for him, by the way. Lizzie builds new houses for her villagers to live in, while also giving them a park and a tavern with the finest of beds in the Empire. The first person to use this bed would be the one and only Hermes, who brought her first netherite. While being left in the room, Lizzie goes off to get honeycomb from Gem, but by trying to see what Whip was doing, caused her to die. Curiosity kills the cat, lady. Having gotten the honeycomb, Hermes is found bouncing around past the roof, which instead of anger, is greeted by proudness by Lizzie, sensing that he wants adventure. So by going through the new nether roof portals, which everyone has made, Hermes is taken to Chromia to trample crops.
Get my crops!
Oh!
Go!
Hermes!
Get my crops!
Hermes, run!
And Evermore, where he falls out of a tree, gets lost, finds tadpoles, and releases them onto the Empire before going back to Joel with some souvenirs. Sausage was able to acquire a name for his tavern, El Caldero de Colores, or just the Colourful Cauldron. His co-chick are Juanita from Cody, and Alay is called Bruno. Wanting toys for his child, finds out about Joel's new toy shop and buys several sheriff toys to show off to the sheriff, who wasn't pleased, saying that he doesn't care about his child wanting the toys to burn. Yet despite having food in his tavern, drinks weren't available until Shelby came, around with a variety of them. Drinking a green one, Sausage is able to jump super high, desperately wanting to show Eddie as if he were a small child showing their parents a new skill they learned. Having been shown Shovel how to work a magical bomb, aka a respawn anchor, is offered to help her to fight a wither, which he accepts. While waiting for her and others to return, he claims his law book, which he'll obviously follow to the T. During the third fight, hiding before almost dying, Flip says, just like memories, bring back quick flashbacks to Sausage from the first season, 1,000 years in lore prior. Having all 4 withers being killed, 1 for each fighter, Sausage is able to make a beacon, but not having enough materials to make a large beacon tower makes a small sheriff-sized one. However, there is always the risk of sanctuary falling, so just in case in the event of it happening, needs an underground bunker protected by magic, a force field of sorts, to flee if necessary. How he gets there, however, is through by adding essence to his portal, leading to a lush cave pocket, so the place would be prepared. Magic is added, building houses, crops, and a massive clock on the wall, and Miles Morales, who is the mayor of this place for now. Whitman, knowing that this will be an out-of-ordinary episode, decided that this episode will be like that one random beach episode in anime. Even if it starts off with him transforming zombie villagers into butchers, it progresses into him finding out about the toy shop, buying everything as his leader shouldn't be disrespected. But why would he need as many sheriff toys? And what would they be used for? Well, what they're used for is surrounding his law book in a secret bunker so one will always be in existence. Would this be considered worshipping the sheriff? No, not for it, seeing it as only as a means to respect him. What else had happened was that he inspected collected Scott's wheat for his own wheat farm so that Gobland could be more self-sufficient. This would also be the place where his farmer villagers would be, so huts for them are built with a windmill. We are then given more insight on what happens with Ollie in the cage, begging for stuff to do, only getting more pork rations, admitting to his crimes. Pixelriffs, right off the bat, builds the surface build of his catacombs, an angel of sorts, one half wing being on reference of Hellboy and the Golden Army, and the other looking less of a common wing, or was painted gold, but due to time it withers to show the stone beneath in some parts. This would be the same process on why the statue has no facial features as it withered away, meaning back in the catacombs itself, an upgrade was given by an item filter chest around the storage system for if there isn't enough space for a block or a block that had nowhere else to go. Essentially, an overflow chest. The offerings chest, aka the chest where you put stuff in to get sorted, is placed on a new interior between the catacomb statue and the catacombs itself, instead of just being the natural hilly terrain. Having there being a variety of useful types of blocks for him, Pixel builds 3 new sections, including one for organics, aesthetics and architectural block, another for end and nether blocks, and finally the vault for valuable items like diamonds, gold and emeralds. Being a lore follower, decides to enact Rule 2 to try and make peace with other empires, this being Joel, who comes with gifts for something in exchange, which of course is foglights. Finally, a record of Joel being nice has emerged. Catherine, seeing Joe's gift, already knows that it was stolen, considering her first gift was the girl from the stratosphere. Not wanting her to get herself in trouble with the law, places the TNT wagon back, but is caught by the sheriff in a yak accused of stealing. Fortunately, she is able to convince the sheriff that it's all a misunderstanding, or else that alliance of theirs would have been damaged. But what is she to do with Joe? In an attempt to scare or confuse him, puts a head on a stick on his dock with a sign saying that she is a princess. Underneath her castle is built a secret storage area, accessed by a secret staircase at the main entrance of the castle. In this bunker would be a secondary enchanting area, a storage and a forge, which comes in handy as she needs to make some weapons for a wither fight with Shovel. Being battle ready, she creates a seemingly human-sized battle axe and a bow to accompany it. She also brings along to the battle some snow and pumpkins to make snow golem distractions. Despite the death during the final wither fight, it overall was a success, with Catherine getting a wither start and 4 heads, specifically that of a cave spider, zombie shepherd, bat and wither. Having Ollie being like no ordinary person and appearing, Scott decides to build a tavern for people to stay at. Despite being the most annoying to build, this is his favourite build of his empire so far. Yet he can't run the bar by himself, being a busy man himself running an empire, so elects the Orange Llama for the role, now named Owen, like a friend of his who likes orange. In each room would be a sheriff toy to create some exclusivity, as in what other tavern can you sleep with the sheriff? Wanted to have the time to adventure, not selling dyes all the time, Scott proceeds to build a wagon like the one he grew up and travelled in to sell the dyes. The dyes to be included would be magenta, purple, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, light blue, pink and light grey, as there's currently only space for 10 dyes. Finally, he builds a message board so he knows what is going on and gathers maps of his empire and some surrounding areas to place in his house so he can see what and where everything is compared to everything else, and all the other usual stuff you'd use a map for. Thank you for watching the almost 2-month anniversary of my Empires Season 2 recap. Make sure to like or subscribe with the bell so you never miss a recap of mine, maybe even leaving a comment as well. Goodbye.